Hi folks, this is your mwis Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. We've got a reasonable looking day for many on Saturday as briefly high pressure is nearby. We do have deteriorating conditions though for Sunday as gale force winds develop across Scotland, becoming increasingly severe across the mountains as the day goes on, and that will usher in some much colder northwesterly air as we go into the start of next week, dropping below freezing point on the higher mountains in Scotland, and the showery pattern may well bring some snow at times onto those high tops. Let's start with a look at that freezing level, and this chart is for later in the day on Sunday, the time at the bottom of the screen, and it's quite an abrupt change of air mass that comes in behind a cold front at that stage through Sunday evening and night, and by the time we get to around dawn on Monday morning, the freezing level across the Highlands widely below 1200 metres and across northern mountains below 1000 metres, maybe even close to 800 metres in the far north. Through the daytime on Monday, that range between around 1000 and 1200 metres as a freezing level looks to be the story. That may just rise a touch through the afternoon, but nevertheless those higher mountains will be around or just below freezing point for much of the day. Similar overnight and into Tuesday, we hold on to that cold air, so the higher tops into Tuesday will start at or below freezing point, that level lifting to around 1400 metres as we go onwards through the daytime, so just getting above freezing on the top of Ben Nevis and the highest points in the Cairngorms. Through into the middle of the weekend, slightly less cold air gets in. We're still only just above freezing point, the freezing level lifting in the atmosphere to around 1600 metres, so a little bit above the higher mountains by this stage, but the air temperature though is still down in the lower end of single figures on those high mountains, and that general story of cool air but not quite as cold through the second half of the week. Let's run the sequence through the weekend, and we have some showers just grazing the west coast of Wales even early in the day. Those mostly right on the Irish Sea coast. A few might just run inland for a time. Cloud will tend to build then from the north across Scotland as the day goes on, the best of the sunshine towards the central belt. We've got those areas of showers just drifting in from the North Sea, one or two areas around the Peak District through the afternoon, perhaps a shower just breaking out over Wales somewhere, but many places will stay dry if just rather cloudy. Skies tending to clear from the north across England and Wales overnight into Sunday, so with those clear skies, the chance of some frost and a few fog patches first thing on Sunday morning. The cloud is tending to build across Scotland, and that will prevent frost for many, and any sunshine early in the day really soon turning hazy as that higher cloud builds across Scotland, and that's ahead of the next frontal system starting to come in from the Atlantic. And although the morning will be generally dry across the Highlands, patchy rain starting to come on in the west will quickly turn heavy and persistent across northwest Scotland through the afternoon and becoming more extensive later on in the day. So before sunset it may well be that rain has come in across a good part of the Highlands. That area will then sink southwards as we go further into the evening beyond darkness and overnight into Monday. The colder air then follows in behind. That's how the chart looks for Sunday, and notice the close proximity of the isobars, and that is an increasingly windy story, especially across the Highlands. Gales becoming severe as the day goes on, reaching 60 or 70 miles per hour with some stronger gusts possible through the afternoon across northern mountains in particular, so do be aware of those deteriorating conditions as we go through the day. The wind increasing quite quickly across northern regions even in the morning. It's really the first proper autumnal blast, if you like, of very strong winds coming in across the mountains this season, so do be aware of those challenging conditions. For England and Wales, not as windy, but will increase as we go onwards through the day, becoming blustery later on. Into the start of the new week, and that cold front will have gone southwards across all areas, so we're all in a chillier air mass by this stage, coming down on still brisk northwesterly winds which may well touch gale force at times over the tops, and will feel significantly cold then where exposed. The air temperatures at or below freezing point as mentioned on those highest mountains in Scotland at least, and not much above freezing point even across the highest tops of England and Wales. Showers will come in from the northwest as well, frequent across more northern facing mountains in Scotland, where there'll fall some snow or some hail across the Munros, and showers too frequent coming into Wales off the Irish Sea Even here, there may be some sleet on the very highest tops. For northern England, some showers around, but maybe escaping drier for longer. Pretty unsettled into the middle of the week with low pressure nearby. The absolute detail is going to be uncertain, but around the centre of the low and maybe a front just wrapped around, that could cluster the showers together to become quite frequent across northern Scotland and around the Cairngorms in particular. Again, they'll fall as sleet or snow across the Munros for a good part of the day. Showers rattling in from the Irish Sea to North Wales, around the Peak District, the Pennines and the Western Lake District too. These could be frequent for periods. Mostly rain here, but there could be some hail mixed in on the tops. And a very windy day once more, the risk of gales on the tops and that significant wind chill. The strongest of the winds look to ease somewhat by Wednesday, but still chilly, still rather blustery. We're exposed across the tops. Again, some showers in the forecast coming down from the north. Any snow probably confined to the highest tops by this stage in Scotland, so mostly falling as rain, but the risk of some hail at times on the mountains, some of those showers quite heavy where they do occur during the day. So not a brilliant outlook as we go through midweek, and it still looks pretty unsettled as we head toward the end of the week. There may be some windows of brighter weather possibly around Thursday, just as the pressure pattern opens out somewhat, but further fronts and developing areas of low pressure over the Atlantic look to be swinging their way in as we go toward the end of the week and next weekend too, it does seem, with many indications suggesting a fairly deep area of low pressure trying to push in heading for the weekend. Timing is somewhat uncertain, but do be aware of wet and windy weather being in the forecast as we go towards next weekend. Temperatures probably a bit higher than midweek, still rather on the cool side, but most likely above freezing point to the high tops. The threat, though, of some heavy rain and some gales being in the forecast, it must be said, as we go to the first weekend of October. Some indications start to build pressure a little bit once we go beyond the weekend, but that's quite sketchy at this stage, so for now it does look to be a rather changeable outlook. Prepare for all weathers then, and take care if you are heading out onto the mountains during the days ahead. That is your Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.